Hi everyone, and welcome back to Speak Like a Leader. I'm Paula, and today we're going to be talking about business meetings. If you work in an international team or work from home and talk to people based in different places around the world, then you are probably taking part in many in-person business meetings, but also online business meetings. Now, meetings in the beginning can be a little bit overwhelming, but don't worry. You'll get the hang of it, and with a little practice and some useful expressions, we will get there. So today we are going to start with online meetings because they are super popular these days since they offer so many benefits. However, there are some downsides to online meetings, and we need to be prepared to react with the right words and expressions. I'm sure, for example, that you've been in situations working from home where your kids were around making a lot of noise, or there were connection issues breaking up the call. These issues can be a huge distraction and need to be dealt with professionally. You may also be in a situation where everyone on the call is new. It's the first time you are all in the meeting, and you need some nice icebreakers to start off the meeting in a friendly way. So why don't we start there with some great conversation starters and then move on to other great expressions for both your online but also in-person meetings. The presentation we'll be going through today will be available for you to download at the end of this video. So let's work on it together, and you can then download it and revise it. Let's get started. Right, let's start with the vocabulary that we need for online meetings. Expressions like, "You're breaking up a little," or "Sorry, I have to jump to another call." These are amazing phrasal verbs that you can use. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with some conversation starters and then move on to some nice phrasal verbs like these. Conversation starters on Zoom can be the following. So when everybody's new in a meeting, for example, you could start by saying, "How's everyone holding up?" Or, "Let's kick things off with a quick icebreaker. Give me one fun fact about your weekend." So this will make people start talking about their weekends, and everybody's going to get to know each other. Number 3, how many Zoom calls have you been in this week? Starting with a question is a good idea because then people can talk about their different opinions. Number 4, who hasn't slept yet? So this is a funny way to start if you've been so busy with meetings and work that you know that everybody is a little bit sleepy today. And number 5, it's great to see so many familiar faces. Why don't we get started? Now, moving on to our phrasal verbs, we're going to look at 6 phrasal verbs that you can use for your online meetings. Your verbs are to break up, to chime in, to point out, to speak up, to wrap up, and to freeze up. Well, there are lots with the preposition up here, aren't there? What other phrasal verbs can you think of today? Because there are quite a few. Why don't we just start with these 6 for today, and I can give you some sentences so you can see how you can use them in your own meetings. "Sorry, you're breaking up. Could you please repeat that?" Or, "Feel free to chime in if you have any thoughts or ideas." "I'd like to point out an important detail in the report." "Could you speak up a bit? It's hard to hear you." We need to wrap up this section and proceed to the next agenda item. "Your video seems to have frozen up. Can you try turning it off and on again?"
How about we now practice some online meeting scenarios? What would you say in the following situations?
Let's say that there's poor sound quality and a lot of background noise, so you haven't heard what your colleague has just said. You could say, "Sorry, the connection is breaking up and I didn't quite catch what you said." What would you say if you joined the meeting a few minutes late and you need to greet everyone and come up with an excuse why you're late? "I'm so sorry, everyone, for coming late to this meeting. Unfortunately, there was a lot of traffic, so I apologize for being late and I hope I didn't disrupt this meeting." You're the host of a meeting and you muted someone accidentally so nobody could hear them speaking when they answered some questions. "Oh my goodness, I think I just muted Mary. That was accidentally, so I'm so sorry, everyone, and I'd like to come back to Mary and ask her to repeat what she just said." It seems that one of your colleagues might have got disconnected. His video is not moving. Ask him if everything is okay. "Hi, James. For some reason, your image is frozen. I think that you're disconnected. Could you probably reconnect so we can hear you again?" You're the host of a meeting and there are 3 people trying to talk at the same time. React and get the meeting back in order. "Right, I need to tell everyone that if we all speak at the same time, it's going to be very difficult for others to listen to us. So why don't we start with James and then we'll move on to the other people." You're participating in an online meeting with 12 people and you can hear a dog barking constantly. It's irritating and you can't really hear what others are saying. Let everyone know about it and try to fix this issue. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but there does seem to be a dog barking constantly in the background. I'm not sure where it's coming from, but could you kindly be aware of it and maybe shut a window, whoever has this dog barking outside their window. Thank you very much, and let's continue." Okay, now let's move on to some phrasal verbs for business meetings, for in-person business meetings. We are going to go through these boxes of phrasal verbs. So the first box has the phrasal verbs to set up, to cool off, to put back, and to deal with. Then the other set of phrasals is to drag on, to work something out, and to give up. And we're going to end with to speak up, to hand out, to jot down, and to run out of. So in order to put these phrasal verbs into practice, we're going to see them in a conversation. Once again, I want to remind you that this presentation is at the description of this video, so if you would like to revise it or watch it on your laptop to have a bigger screen, feel free to download it after this video. So let's go through it together. "Good morning, Dave. Have you set up the monthly sales meeting yet?" "Yes, John, I did yesterday, but I'm afraid we will need to call it off." "Is that absolutely necessary? What happened?" "I'm afraid so. Mary from the B2B sales department is sick and can't attend." "Is there any chance we could put it back for next week?" "I can certainly try." "Don't worry about it. I'll deal with it and send you an update on when it will take place." So to set up a meeting means to organize a meeting. To call it off means to cancel it. To put it back means to postpone it. And to deal with it means to manage it. Let's move. "This meeting has been dragging on forever. I'm afraid we are losing the scope of the meeting." "You're right. We need to work something out before the marketing manager starts getting upset." "I'm afraid he will give up on the idea of launching our new product line altogether if we don't set things straight." "What do you think we should do?" "Maybe we should show them our customer feedback. See how thrilled our customers are with this new product. Maybe that will speed up the process." Great idea. Go for it. So when a meeting is dragging on forever, it means that it's never ending. It's dragging on for too long. When you need to work something out, it means that you have to find the solution to something. And when you give up on an idea, it means that you no longer want to proceed with this idea. Let's move on to the last set of phrasal verbs. We are so happy to be with our ad agency today discussing options for a new ad campaign. Sorry, John, can you speak up, please? We can't hear you well enough. Sure thing. Sorry about that. So let me begin by handing out our marketing objectives so we can all be aligned and share a common understanding. John, how about we also jot down some key elements of our product to show our agency how our products stand out? Good idea. And before we run out of time, let me remind you that we also need to discuss our marketing costs before the meeting ends. Well said, John. Let's begin. So when you ask someone to speak up, you ask them to speak louder. When you're handing out marketing objectives, it means that you're distributing them to each and every person in the room. And when you want to jot something down, it means that you're taking notes. And last but not least, we're running out of time, means that we don't have a lot of time, so we either need to end the meeting or move on to the next topic of this agenda. Now, in this presentation, that again I'm reminding you can find in the description of this lesson, you will also find useful language for giving strong opinions, giving weak opinions, strongly agreeing or disagreeing with someone. You will also find language for interrupting someone, checking or clarifying an opinion, helping someone come to an agreement, or changing a topic and moving on. And most importantly, you have to be realistic about how you're going to end the meeting. So you have to check there's nothing left to talk about to smoothly finish the meeting and talk about any future contacts. And there you have it. With these tips and expressions, you're all set to handle both online and in-person meetings like a pro. Remember, the key is to stay clear, be patient, and keep things moving smoothly. Meetings are a fantastic way to connect, to collaborate, and get things done, whether you're working from home, the office, or anywhere in between. If you found these tips helpful, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more useful content. Until next time, happy meeting, everyone.